Shabbat Shalom. Hi everyone. So I'm burning some cedar for y'all. And it was really important for me to come on and make another video, even though this is definitely not my thing. From the calmest place that you will find me. Just before Shabbat, after 3 hours of working out, sweating my buns off, meditating, and sitting at my altar burning some incense. Because it's been a really intense 10 days. Having 4,000 missiles fired at Israel, running to bomb shelters. That was not the worst thing. Worse than that was the instigating of fighting between Arabs and Jews within Israel, amongst ourselves. I live in Jaffa, which is a mixed city of coexistence. So nothing was more heartbreaking than to see what was happening here and in Akko and Lod and so many places around Israel this week. How it didn't take much, but it was instigated, and still the majority want peace and coexistence, and we have that hope, and we're not giving up on that hope in any way. Burn some more cedar for that. Yeah, so I escaped from Jaffa and with my sister and her 2 daughters and my brother-in-law because cars were being burned, smashed all around us, Molotov cocktails thrown through windows, lynchings, children burned in their houses, people mistaking Arabs for Jews and Jews for... It was just a complete and utter shit show is the best word that I can describe that. And in case that wasn't the worst, actually that wasn't the worst thing that happened this week. The worst thing that happened was just to see the absolute ignorance of people, especially of friends, especially of open-minded, conscious friends, people around the world. And I have to say, sorry you guys, but the United States of America, wow. I really feel sorry for you guys, because what I understand, this is what I understood, is that most of my friends are not Trump supporters, you know, they're left-wing, and it seems to them to be very right-wing to support Israel. And so you don't even realize that you're just in this herd mentality of just going along with the crowd, not checking your facts, just repeating propaganda. I have always had a problem with Democracy Now! Even though you could, okay, let me put it like this. You can still be left-wing and alternative and think for yourself and maybe not agree with everyone. I encourage open minds. I encourage discussion and conversation. I encourage studying history and really going back, like keep going back. There's always more, and keep going back. Like, don't stop until you get to the source of things. I was quite shocked but not surprised to see John Oliver and Trevor Noah's commentary. I love their humor, and I love some of the things they share, but also their views on vaccination and things like that I don't agree with. So I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised when, you know, celebrities with millions of followers started spewing stuff that they just heard. It just gets them viewers, and they're making money off that. I was really upset to see Bernie Sanders' speech because I love that guy, and I know most of my friends do. So his absolute condemnation of Israel, and just this constant, everyone's needing to just purely focus on, but they're killing babies, but Israel's killing babies, but it's just like with absolutely no studying of the history or the facts or why Israel, or how does that come to be that Israel is killing babies, is absolutely mind-boggling to me. I really feel sorry. I really do. I feel sorry for you guys that you really seem to not be able to think for yourself independently. I really encourage people to not go along with what their friends and groups say or think, and think for yourself. That's how I choose to live my life always. It doesn't make you very popular sometimes. I've really come to the point in life where I don't really care anymore. Honestly, I don't care if people like me or not. I never think I know everything. I am always studying. I teach dance, and I say this to my students too. I don't know everything. I always am studying because I'll never get to perfection. There's always more to learn, and I relate that directly to life also. So, you know, if you like, people got offended by me in my last video, between running to bomb shelters and not having slept in 3 nights, with watching rockets exploding, with our animals left at home on their own, not knowing if my house was going to be set on fire, were offended that I said shut the fuck up to some people. So I want to say, I apologize. I believe in free speech, but there's a limit. A friend, Chaya Kaplan, who's an amazing woman of peace, and of gentle words. She posted something the other day which said it so perfectly for me. She was just like, how long can you be punched in the face consistently and then ask why you're not compassionate for your enemy's bloodied knuckles? She wrote, I'm peaced off. That's what being peaced off is. We are people of peace. I do not encourage, incite, or support war and military in any way. I believe in conflict resolution. I believe that we are meant to live without weapons of war. I don't believe in borders. I traveled the world for 15 years on my own, trusting the universe, and having to be a tough cookie to do that. I respect all cultures and traditions, which basically honor life, and don't enforce their religion on any other people. I think you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, that's what I want to say about that. I wanted to say this to my United States friends, because what first of all, I believe in communication. I believe that is the gift we were given as humans, and I believe that everything can be solved, even if we agree to disagree, through talking to each other. So what I discovered this week, again, is that when people just want to state stuff, and I don't know, maybe they just want to get followers, they're not really interested in the truth or what they're posting, or what the consequence is of what they're actually doing. Every time I just say to people, talk to me, let's have a discussion about it. And if people just ignore me or say, no, I never want to talk to you, and just block me on Instagram or Facebook, that just speaks volumes about your intent. okay? I'll start with that. I also found the most of the aggression that I received from friends of mine, brothers and sisters, again, in the United States. What was coming through very, very clearly is their own personal ancestral trauma. And I really want you to listen carefully to me. The word colonization and oppression and ethnic cleansing is like the trigger word to wake these people up. And I get it. I totally get it. I totally, you know, I practice, my spirituality is Native American culture. I honor and practice, and I do everything that I can. The United States of America is a true colonization. Yes, agreed. This is people who have no roots in that place, nothing, and came and did a genocide and ethnic cleansing of the Native American people. And it is absolutely horrendous. But that is not what is going on here. So it's exhausting because I've been doing this all week. But Jewish people come from Judah, Yehuda. The Yehudim come from Yehuda. This is our ancestral country. This country was captured, colonized, conquered for millennia, for 2,000 years by everyone you can possibly think of. And we were all put into exile and banished from this land. And somehow, despite all odds, the Jewish people dispersed to every corner of the globe maintained their language, culture, songs, prayers, traditions, religion. And after being persecuted forever, the minority of the entire planet came back to this land. I am not going to go into, oh yes, but people were banished from... Look, honestly, from what I've researched, honestly, and you can believe me or not, the majority of land that was taken back was actually sold fair and square to Jewish families. But for sure, there's always people being killed, and there's always not... I want to say another thing. I do not support in any way my government, the Israeli government. It's not... Okay, so people are not their government. Just like I don't think the Palestinian people in Gaza are Hamas terrorists, most of them. I don't think, or you shouldn't think, that all Israelis are gun-loving, militant people who just want to kill... Like, I don't even know where you get that from. Just like I would never... Have you ever heard me, friends in the United States, judge you because Trump was your elected... Can't think of a good word to say. I'm trying to keep it calm. Because he was your elected president? No. It's a stupid system which is not working and does not express the people on the ground, on the roots, people who just want to eat healthy food, drink clean water, live together in peace, educate their kids, have jobs, have abundance, have laughter and community. Our governments are so far removed from the needs and wants of their people on all sides. But this is the truth. In this, the only democracy in the Middle East. If Hamas put down its weapons tomorrow, there would be peace. There would be peace, there would be two states, we would live in peace, the borders would open up, there would be no siege, there would be no blockades coming from Gaza. If people weren't blowing themselves up every time they got a chance and shooting, trying to kidnap, building tunnels under houses and kidnapping children. I mean, this is the reality. If Israel put its weapons down tomorrow, we would be obliterated overnight. This is the truth. This is the absolute truth. Do I believe in the army? No. Did I go to the army? No. I don't believe in aggression. It is not for me. I left this country because I didn't want 1 shekel of my money, taxes, anything to go to supporting this. I came back because I realized that there's a lot of misunderstanding going on. There's a lot more going on, and I can be way more helpful being here and trying to be some kind of way shower in the midst of everything. I could very easily, like most people I know have done, just take off and live anywhere else and float around and fluff around and sit in my mansion in California and tell people, ooh, that's not cool. Ooh, what you're doing over there is not cool. Anyway, here I am. I'm pretty much the most open-minded, peace-loving, big-mouthed, hippie chick that you can find. I think, really. But I won't shut up on this. I won't shut up as long as there's so much disinformation and misinformation going on around, so much propaganda being spewed by people who have no clue what they're talking about, have no clue of history, just get offended because, you know, people were saying, oh, I don't like your tone. I won't be told to be shut the fuck up. It's like, yeah, bitch, have you sat in a fucking bomb shelter with missiles falling over your head and all your family in danger and watching your parents hyperventilate? Have you really? Sorry if my tone offends you, and I'm slightly not my usual patient, oming namaste self. But life is not all shits and giggles. This is reality. This is people's lives. Because of all this propaganda that's being shared, there's now, because you are instigating it, you who keep sharing this disinformation and one-sided information, is now giving rise to anti-Semitic acts of terror to pop up all over the world, including in LA, including in New York, including in England. All the Muslims are taking to the streets, not all of them, obviously, calling for death and murder of all Jewish people, to rape the daughters. I mean, really, this is what you want to support. Do you even know what you're supporting? I don't think so. Free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine. Yeah, free Palestine from Hamas, totally. We now have a ceasefire, which is not peace. That's a ceasefire because Hamas run out of long-range missiles to attack Tel Aviv, and the world is like, ooh, okay, we've seen too many pictures of dead babies. I want to ask you, why do you think it is that you see all these dead babies coming from Gaza? Some of them are not even real. Some have been proven as child models in Russia who are completely alive. But agreed, some of the kids have been killed. Hamas uses its citizens as human shields. They hide, this is fact, in schools, in hospitals, in residential areas. They don't allow their citizens to leave when being attacked. Israel lets them know where they're going to bomb to try and avoid killing any citizens. Have you ever heard of any such a thing? They call them on their cell phones and say, hey, we're going to bomb this building in an hour, maybe you should leave. Sometimes the Hamas locks them into the building so that they can die, and then they can show you pictures of dead babies on the television. The other reason is that the statistic I saw is 20 to 30% of Hamas's missiles misfired in the last 10 days. 4,000 plus missiles were sent over to Israel, which means between 800 and 1,330 missiles fell on their own residential areas. What we know of is that they killed, I think, don't quote me on this, but it was something like 20 people and 16 children died from their own rockets. The other reason, which gets very overlooked, is that Hamas wants nothing more than to show you pictures of dead babies and get your pity and get your and defame Israel in any way that they can. This is a war on consciousness more than it actually is on anything. That's all it is, because obviously within 4,000 missiles, thank God for our bomb shelters. Thank God for the Iron Dome. Thank God we have a way to defend ourselves, because otherwise this would have been a bloodbath, believe me. The reason that you don't see as many dead babies on the Israeli side and pictures of gruesome people bleeding is because we respect life. We respect life, and we respect and honor our dead. We would never flaunt that on. We would never take pictures of that or flaunt it or show it out of respect for that person, out of respect for their families, because we value life. All life, all human life. I really wish people would just think about that for a second. When I just keep hearing over and over, yes, but Israel kills innocent babies. Yes, Israel. Yeah, but how does that come about? Why? So what else did I want to say to you? Oh, a great one I saw yesterday, which was amazing to me, was a colleague of mine posting some just absolute crap with no knowledge of anything. Again, someone who's never been here, never bothered to reach out to the 1 or 2 people she actually knows in Israel, but just decided to go ahead and spew some propaganda. When I asked, she said, could I send her some resources? And I said, well, you know, I've been posting resources all week. That's what I've been doing. And then she said to me, oh, I saw that you wrote All Lives Matter on one of your posts, which is a known racist sentiment. So you couldn't knock me over with a feather. What does that even mean? To say that all lives matter is racist? Tell me what screwed up reality people live in, that if you say all lives matter, you're a racist. If this is to do with Black Lives Matter, yeah, Black Lives Matter. No one matters more than the other. But if you're only going to say Palestinian lives matter, as if people don't know that, then I'm going to say, yeah, Israeli lives matter too. And Muslim lives matter, and Jewish lives matter, and all lives friggin' matter. Every life is sacred. That is the whole point. I've never heard such backward, but to me, it just seems like the stupidity of humanity is really at a peak. Obviously, the dumbing down of humanity has worked. the media brainwashing has worked. The vaccines or the medication, I don't know, the chemtrail, all the, I don't know, whatever it was that they were doing to try and keep people stupid and in a sheep mentality is obviously working. Because I can't believe some of these things that I'm hearing. What else did I want to address? Yeah, so, okay, we have a ceasefire right now, and that is not peace. And we have seen this all before. We've been in this loop and watched history repeating itself over and over again. Hamas gets funded by Iran and gets loads of weapons and long-range missiles, da, da, da. Whatever started, yes, I know, da, 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 it was also Bibi Netanyahu's interest and the Hamas government interest to spark this confrontation up right now, to distract from the fact that we're both heading for elections and they were both had the chance of losing their seat of power. This is playing pawns with the lives of the people to keep positions of power in this patriarchal system, which we are fighting to stop. All this year, we've been protesting out in the streets against our corrupt government, and we will continue to do so. But it doesn't change the fact that Hamas's only objective. You can believe whatever you say about liberating Gaza and it's under siege and the poor people of Gaza. Yes, they are very poor people to be led by a terror regime. But whether you like it or not, their only goal is to kill every single Jew and take over the whole land of Israel. This is just about killing every single person. Every peace treaty that was offered to them was turned down because it's not about land or living in harmony. It's about killing every single Jew. That's what people don't want to admit or get into or understand, that the Jewish people are a tiny minority that have been persecuted for forever. Anyway, so they ran out of missiles, and now we have a ceasefire because you all got tired of seeing dead babies on your television screens. So now we have a ceasefire, but that is not peace. Now it just means they're going to restock their weaponry, dig more tunnels, get more guns, create more hate now that the Gazan people are in even more devastation and have lost homes and even more infrastructure, and there's more hate, more ways to stir up everyone's hate against the Israeli people and just say, you see, it was them, to keep Hamas in power. And then once they power up again, we'll be in this one more time. Israel will be under attack all the time. In case you were wondering, rockets are fired all the time from Gaza, all throughout the year. You just don't hear about it. It's just, we're just used to it. Can you believe it? You have no idea what that even means, what you don't understand. I hope you never have to understand. There's so much more, and there's so much more history. The one thing which people were surprised to hear is the name Palestinian, where that comes from and originates, just really on the tip of the iceberg. Comes from a Hebrew word, from Plishtim, which is, the root is Pulesh, which means invader or intruder. Plishtim, Palestinim, means that they are not native to this land. Every Palestinian can be traced back to all the Arab countries around. If any one of you wanted to really, really help the Palestinian people, how about, instead of getting on Israel's case all the time, how about asking any one of the richest countries around from which these people originate, every Arab country that hates Israel, why they don't help their own people? Why? The reason is because they are pawns pawns in a game to make you hate the Jewish people, to make you continue this cycle of hate against Israel and try to wipe us off the face of the earth. But Am Yisrael Chai, I love all my brothers and sisters of the world. I wish peace for us all. Please open your mind. This was half an hour by the Pixie. Shabbat Shalom.